Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
Damn it. Are we back? You know, Crypto KJ, I blame you. 1000%. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. If anybody is new here, I apologize. Damn it.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
I'll just go myself. All right, let's get back into this. If I freeze it, dude, I tried to catch it and I couldn't catch it. It would not unfreeze. And know what's weird? I stayed live on YouTube and my Streamlabs it disconnected on me. So I got this setting somewhere in there that won't allow it to reconnect. So I got to find that because now I know the problem. Streamlabs, it's not YouTube. God damn it. That was so aggravating that I could not catch that. I was trying and I actually posted a wrong stream. Oh, stupid. Anyways, I apologize, guys. It's Crypto KJ's fault. 1000%. Just blame him in the chat. All right.
Bruh.
All right, so let's get back into this. Antminer L7. We have rumors the L9. I don't think they're going to happen, but I'm making $9.43 a day again. This after 10 cents per kilowatt hour hosting with Terra Hosting. Man, I'm so pissed. I can't believe I hate that. I hate when that does that to me during the stream because it throws off everything and then it just sucks for views. Anyways, all right, S19K Pro, the 120 terahash unit. We have $6.09 per day. I'm actually super stoked. I actually got this thing mining Bitcoin. Finally, I had it going to unMineable. Oh god, dumpster fire, you just scared the shit out of me. I thought I was lagging again. All right, if it freezes again, please throw those freaking loading emojis in the chat. You scared the shit out of me. Anyways, I'm finally mining Bitcoin again instead of going to Neoxa on unMineable. I got my million Neoxa, so soft golf clap for myself. I'm happy that I was able to accomplish that goal. That was one of my goals this year, to get a master node going, so I got to get that going and we'll go from there. But I'll make a video about it obviously at some point. All right, Ice River KS0 Pro 200 gigahash unit. We got $2.09 a day. Hell yeah, that's actually doing awesome. I have 80 of these running next to me. Oh, and my man, the veteran miner, hold on, I gotta make a short about this later, but let me show you guys. If you're interested in sick cables, go check out veteranminer.com for your KS0s. No, that's a 6-pin. Hold on, look at this thing. Look at these new connectors. Hopefully you guys can kind of see them in the bag. I didn't open them yet. They got these metal connectors now. These ones are way better than the other ones he had. They're sick. So yeah, if you guys are interested, go check those out. I'm going to hook these up later today and I'll have to make a video about it. But anyways, all right, let's move on to GPUs, see what is the most profitable GPU at the time of recording, and hopefully we don't freeze again. We have Lithium, Hyper and Lithium. If I'm not mistaken, Hyper is a rebranded, was it Ethereum? Is that what it was? I forget. I think that's what it was. But anyways, Hyper and Lithium on the top of the charts. We have AIPG also for some of the AMD cards. It's a compile algorithm, if I'm not mistaken. Conflux and Radiant, yep, it was. Okay, Ethereum was rebranded to Hyper, which is that was a good move on them, I think, to be honest. I mean, I don't know how the coin's doing overall. I'm not into it, but hey, I'm happy they got off of the taking the name train, because it's kind of ridiculous. I hate when coins do that. All right, let's oh, real quick over here, Terra hashes. You guys are interested? These ASICs over here, by the way, I don't get any money from these guys for you know, selling units or anything. I'm just showing you guys. If you guys want to purchase units, these are all in prices. If you guys look at other places, they are actually going to hit you with tariffs and shit at your door, so just be wary of that. Make sure you check to see if tariffs are included, because if they're not, you're gonna get hosed. Like literally, my man, I don't even want to say who it was, but he ordered 3 KS3Ms or 2 KS3Ms. You had to pay like $2 grand to pick them up. It was so stupid. I'm like, what? Oh no, maybe it was more than that. I think it was $2 grand for his KS0s he picked up. He got 10 of them, and I think he had to pay like freaking, I think it was like $4 grand or something for the KS3s. It was so stupid. Anyways, all right, Bitcoin tops 63,000. Rally lifts crypto. Let's see Yahoo Finance over here, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes. Let's do it.
Bitcoin continuing its rally today. This week, the currency has flown past 63,000 for the first time since November of 2021. For more on what we can expect, Yahoo Finance reporter Jared Blickery here to break it down. Hey, Jared.
Hey there, it's almost a slam dunk now that we get past those record highs, which are right on the upper end of 69, 70,000, depending on your exchange. Here's what Bitcoin has done over the last 7 days. Easy to forget, only Monday, it was in the low 50,000s. Now we're tracking nearly 64,000 over.
$13,000 price move. How crazy is that? That's why I think we're going to have a pullback when the market closes today. But that's just my opinion.
We backed off just a tiny little bit from those highs. Ethereum also joining the party here.
Claude, yes. Sorry, I don't mean to keep pausing this guy, but he said, are tariffs and stuff bad when shipping to the U.S.? So anything over like $600, you're going to get hit. So if you're going to order like any KS0s or KS0 Pros, order one at a time. Give it like a day in between. I'm telling you. You'll thank me because you're going to get hit with tariffs. I think it happened to me when I ordered Mini Doge Pro. No, just the original Mini Doge little box miners. I got, I think, 3 of them at once one time. And I had to pay like an additional $300 to pick them up, or DHL wouldn't even deliver them. And then I'm going to get charged for the chargeback, sending it back if I didn't want to take it because of the tariffs. It was stupid. It was so stupid. But just keep that in mind.
Here, up 16% over the last 7 days. And overall, let's take a look at the 5-year chart because we can see Ethereum too, a little bit farther away from these record highs, but a very similar chart structure. And one of the things I've noticed of late, and let me put a 5-day view on the heat map, we can see some of the outperformance now in the fringe tokens. So here's Dogecoin.
What do you call it? A fringe token? It's the first time I heard that.
Off my radar for a bit, but here's a 5-year chart. Much different chart than we were just looking at with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Still in the lower end of its range here. So we'll see if it can get off the ground and maybe catch up a bit. But I think it just speaks as to the speculative fever that we've seen. In the last 5 days, tech is still the #1 sector, followed by consumer discretionary. So we've seen even in the fringier parts of the market, whether it's ARC innovation components or IPOs, there's just a lot of hot money, a lot of thirsty cash waiting to be deployed.
A lot of thirsty cash. All right, let's move on to this has been Bitcoin's IPO moment, says Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan. Let's see what this guy's got to say. He has a very strong prediction. I did listen to this morning. Let's do it.
Bitcoin this morning trading just at about 62,000, 63,000 almost. 62.
He has a good outlook at ETFs.
Has now jumped 50% since the start of the year and is nearing its all-time high, with much of that action driven by heavy interest in new spot Bitcoin ETFs. Our next guest helps run one of them. I want to bring in Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hogan. Good morning to you. When you look at what's been driving this price action on Bitcoin, Matt, how much of this is retail investors investing directly in Bitcoin? How much of it is the ETF? How much of it is institutions in the ETF?
Absolutely. It's a great question. We're seeing enormous demand for the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF and across all of these ETFs. And the answer is it's all of those categories. You're seeing retail investors come into these ETFs. You're seeing hedge funds. You're seeing RIAs or independent financial advisors. I think there's an even bigger wave coming in a few months as we start to see the major wirehouses turn on. But this has been Bitcoin's IPO moment. It's in a new era of price discovery. And I think prices could go substantially higher from here.
Let's talk about where they could go in just a minute. But I just want to go back to this idea of who you think is buying these ETFs, meaning how much of this is retail versus institutions?
So I listened to this and I only really caught the tail end. I didn't get to hear everything. So I wonder what he's going to say here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when these ETFs first launch, they're not turned on at the major wirehouses, at the major institutions. So the initial demand out of the gate for any ETF, including these, is primarily retail and independent financial advisors and hedge funds. So I think that's the primary driver. That's what we're seeing. Right. But I'll tell you, after this meeting, I'm getting on a plane to go talk to one of the largest institutional consultants in the U.S. about this ETF. So we're going to see that next wave of institutional capital.
You did mention hedge funds, which I will put in sort of an institutional or professional category. In terms of this big move, do you think it's that money that's pushed this, or do you think it's straight retail?
Oh, I think it's both. I think it's both. It's just new demand. If you think about Bitcoin pre the ETFs, there was only a small set of investors who could buy it. Now almost everyone can buy it, and the supply demand dynamic is just off the hook. There are 30,000 Bitcoin purchased by ETFs this week alone. Bitcoin miners have only created less than 3,000. That's what's driving the price, and it's both hedge funds and retail and that advisor community.
Obviously, you have one of these, so if you say it's going to go up, people will say you're talking your book. But if you were to say it's going to go up, where do you think it's going to go?
Absolutely.
And describe exactly why.
Yeah, sure. At the start of this year, in December, we actually published our 2024 predictions. And we said that Bitcoin would trade to new all-time highs above $80,000 a coin. Based on what we're seeing in our ETF and these other ETFs, I think we have to revise that upwards. It could be 100,000. It could be 200,000. It could.
You guys hear that? 100,000, 200,000 instead of the 80 that they projected at the beginning?
Be higher than that.
That's
There's
crazy.
Simply this massive supply demand dynamic going on, net new demand and a fixed supply, and actually a reduction in new supply coming up in April with the halvening. Sometimes investing is complex. Sometimes it's easy. With Bitcoin right now, it's just about supply demand, and there's too much demand and not enough supply.
When you think about the various ETFs, spot ETFs that are out there, we're talking about a dozen right now. There's been a big question mark about whether that turns into 3 or 4, meaning there's massive consolidation, or they all remain independent, or new players emerge in the field. How do you see it?
Real quick, you guys remember that argument that the reason we have that new emoji with this guy's face on it, like kind of looking at Joe? I haven't seen Joe since that day. Have you guys, actually? I haven't really consistently watched every clip, but I haven't seen him since that day.
I think there'll be 6 or 7 or 8 of these that survive long term. There are 5 that are over $1 billion. We're proud that BITB is among that. We're at about $1.5 billion. So there'll be some consolidation. But make no mistake, these are the most successful ETF launches of all time by a large factor. Our ETF, which is, again, $1.5 billion, is one of the 25 fastest growing ETFs of all time. So there'll be 6 or 7, maybe 8 of these. And then there'll be variations. You'll start to see the ETF ingenuity machine come up with covered call options and other variations on the theme. But this is a big market. I think this is a $100 billion plus category. There's enough room for multiple high quality firms to play in it.
And real quick, do you expect to be offering the Bitwise, Ethereum ETF anytime soon?
Yeah, we think the door is opening to more crypto ETFs. Bitcoin ETFs have proven it's a low-cost, secure way to access the market. We're getting enormous positive feedback about BITB, and we want to be a player in every crypto category for ETFs. So we're looking aggressively at the Ethereum space. I think there's a good chance we'll see one by the end of this year.
Amazing. Shout out to that guy. So, I wonder who he's going to talk to. He just said he's going to talk to somebody that was like the most high up for a financial institution in the U.S. So it's going to be kind of interesting. All right, this is a bit of a longer clip. Novogratz talks Bitcoin surge and Ethereum ETF. Let's get into it. I can't wait to listen to this, guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Mike, talk to us about what you're seeing under the surface. I think a lot of people are watching Bitcoin go absolutely parabolic and wonder what is exactly driving the flow. Who's driving it?
Well, listen, this is probably the first time in the history of Bitcoin that we have true price discovery. And what I mean by that is this is the first time that anyone who wants to buy it has easy access to buy it. And so, baby boomers have $85 trillion of wealth. Their wealth is, for the most part, managed through registered investment advisors who now, at least half of them or some portion of them, can just buy the ETF. And so you're seeing a step function in new owners of Bitcoin, which is driving.
Dude, his camera quality is horrible.
I would say a frenzy in the whole crypto ecosystem.
Am I on HD here? What the hell? Dude, I'm going to send this guy a new camera. What the fuck is happening?
Right. So how crypto always works is Bitcoin gets bought and some people sell a little bit to buy Ethereum and they try to play the catch ups and the altcoins. And I would say we've gotten to very frothy levels. You can see it in the funding rates of the altcoin market, how much you get paid to actually lend out your coins in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the alts. And so you saw it in the equities, the public equity markets, right? MicroStrategy, Marathon, all the kind of public equity bellwethers really went parabolic along with Bitcoin. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see some correction and some consolidation. But I'm very loath to pick a Bitcoin high because I really do believe this is price discovery. Will we test the old high? Most likely. And you'll probably have some consolidation. But I still think we're going to end the year much higher.
It's interesting to hear you kind of come in with some caution in the middle of this euphoria. It begs the question, what's also the new low?
You know, we broke out from 45,000, and so that would probably be what should hold us if there's a real correction. You never know why corrections come. Something happens and people, shift mindset. And there's a lot of people that have bought recently. I don't think it'll get there, quite frankly. I think if it corrects, it probably corrects to the mid 50s before taking off to the new high. First the old high, that 68, 69,000, where we got pretty close. But I do think that
it went into focus for half a second, but I think I kind of agree with them. We're going to see a pullback to mid 50s. We have to. There's no way. Things can't go up consistently forever, right?
You're going to see. And partly this is, if you look at Fidelity or any of these big platforms that have so much baby boomer wealth, just shifting 2 to 3%, 1 to 3% of those assets, encouraging their customers to shift to Bitcoin over time, which has been an amazing diversifier, is a monster number, right? You think about it, like I said, 85 trillion of baby boomer wealth, 3% of that is 2.5 trillion, right? The whole market cap of Bitcoin is only a little more than 1.2 trillion. And so, again, we're going to see a step change function. We're in the process. And I like to call it price discovery. A good friend mentioned that. I was like, he's dead right. That's what it is.
Well, even if you're worried that we won't hit the new highs right away, it begs the question, where do you think Bitcoin is a year from now?
Much higher. Listen, how do you put yardsticks around something? Right? We know gold is a $12 trillion asset. Bitcoin's about a tenth of gold. Could Bitcoin be half of gold at one point? Sure, it could. It will be. And at one point, it will be larger than gold. Right? Again, for every Charlie Munger, God rest his soul, who passes away, that money is finding its way into Gen Z and millennials. And they feel much more comfortable with digital gold than old clunky gold. I'm kind of halfway in between. I like a little of both. I got some gold coins that we give out on our podcast because it's, you can touch it. But I go to a lot more Bitcoin than I do gold.
So what does this mean for the new people getting in? Do you worry at all at this point that a lot of these retail investors in particular are buying at highs?
Listen, in every mania, in every excitement, people are going to buy at the wrong level because it feels easy. And then they're going to get washed out and they're going to sell at the wrong level. And then it's going to go back up and they're going to say, I can't believe I sold. Like, that's just part of speculation. And it's part of investing. You could say the same with NVIDIA or Tesla or anything that, has monster moves. Everyone has FOMO. And so, yes, some investors are going to buy at the wrong level and then stop out at the wrong level. What has been unbelievably impressive about the core Bitcoin community is just how resilient they've been. Down, I remember doing an interview with you a year ago, at 18,000. And the core Bitcoiners just took pain. And so
it's a good thing we hit the rope because, man, it was getting hairy for a few minutes when it went down to 15,000. How many of you guys rode your bags all the way down? I know I did with Bitcoin. That's the last time I'll be doing that. I can tell you that. He is absolutely explaining it to me. He says, Mr. DJ. And Dan R said, Jump Change, or anybody in the chat, what happens when there is no more Bitcoin to buy? It's going to fucking skyrocket, man. It's going to skyrocket for sure. And they're just going to, I don't know, honestly, the price appreciation is going to be crazy.
I don't think the core group of people that have owned this thing and really loved it and promoted it, there are no sellers there. Michael Saylor ain't selling. And
That's true.
The, new people are going to kind of ease in. Listen, I don't think you're buying it into your 401k and selling it a month later.
Shout out to DJ, said Timmys are important. We need them to we need them so us Chads can win. Thank you, Timmys.
Right? And so most of this new money, I think, is going to be sticky money or hodler money.
So funny.
In crypto terms. But the retail, the young speculation that's happening on, all the apps and on Robinhood and on Coinbase and everywhere else, that's going to have blow off tops and blow off bottoms, and people are going to get chopped up like they always do in speculative manias.
Listen, if you think about what's happening right now as well, you have to wonder, with the halving around the corner here, how much is already priced in?
Again, Paul Tudor Jones taught me, like, year 3 of my Wall Street career, prices are set at
look, it's camera focused.
Margin. When we have more marginal buyers than marginal sellers, prices go up. And that's what I mean by price discovery. There's a new army of buyers. There's an army of salespeople. I mean, what BlackRock is doing is breathtaking, right? That's an army of salespeople being endorsed by their CEOs saying, guys, this is an important part of the future. We didn't have that 6 months ago. And so I do think it's going to be hard to figure out where equilibrium is in the next 6 to 12 months.
So say that the demand stays constant. Of course, we've seen more demand with these Bitcoin ETFs, and you have the halving where you'll have the new coins minted daily dropping. We know that miners don't control the whole market, right? There are still a lot of large holders out there. What do you think the float really looks like right now?
So now think about it. Before the halving, with that 60,000 Bitcoin, it's about $54 million a day of new supply. Right?
Crazy.
We have one customer who is one of the retail apps that pretty much buys 30 to $35 million a day just with us. And I'm sure we're not the only person they buy with, right? There is a tremendous global demand for Bitcoin. And so when you see what's driving the market day to day right now is at 8 o'clock at night, all the ETFs talk about how much they bought or sold, and it was $500 million or $400 million. As long as those numbers stay positive, you're going to see some momentum in Bitcoin. The first day they go negative, people are going to sell off Bitcoin because they think, oh, the ETF funds are going to slow. And so that's kind of like the insider's way of looking at this in the short term. But that's a little myopic. Let's look each month at what the total flows into Bitcoin is from that ETF community plus other communities. After the halving, that 54 million goes to 27 million. I mean, that's a bid-ask spread right now. And so there's just not a lot of supply. This is one of the least inflationary assets or most deflationary assets there is. It's why, when you see our government spending so much money, people are drawn to this narrative.
So what do you think about certain features of the market right now? You think about liquidity out there, you think about leverage. Do you like where both of those things stand, or are any of those things out of whack?
Well, there's a tremendous amount of liquidity in the market right now, a shocking amount. I mean, I was looking at just some of the volumes of the stocks that traded. Forget the ETFs, which traded record volumes yesterday, but look at MicroStrategy's volume yesterday, or Marathon, or Riot's. The U.S. equity market has monster volume in crypto. You're starting to see it on the exchanges, and the crypto exchanges. And so plenty of liquidity, which means that lots of people are getting leveraged. I think the market is too leveraged right now. It happens after huge runs. You have leverage at the max, at the highs. There will be a washout. I don't know when it is, today, tomorrow, 2 weeks, a month.
You guys agree? You guys agree we're going to see a decent downturn today, tomorrow, next week? What do you think?
It'll be,
I think it'll happen.
I hate to call things healthy.
I don't know if it's going to be like right before the halving or right after the halving. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event.
Washouts, because it never feels healthy when you lose money. And when there's a washout, the price will go down. But there will be a washout. People can't sustain this much leverage. And remember, a lot of the offshore trading platforms can give you 50, 60, 70 to 1 leverage. And so you got a lot of, millennials and Gen Z YOLOing it. And they will get, some will make money and a lot of them will get wiped out.
How do you describe the difference now, Mike, between the leverage you're seeing in the system versus what you saw in 2021 that caused a lot of levered players to go bankrupt?
Well, I think the big institutional players have less leverage, right? I mean, you're not very few people are buying an ETF with leverage. And the broker-dealer community, or the kind of core players, I think, learned a lot of lessons. And so I always said, like, we don't take a lot of leverage. Like, why would you take a lot of leverage on an 80 vol asset? You know, in some ways, it's the definition of insanity to lever up an 80 vol asset. But retail still loves leverage, and you're going to see this boom bust in the short run, with an overall really positive trend as people just keep deciding to allocate some of their portfolio to Bitcoin.
Do you think it's a bad idea for there to be levered Bitcoin ETFs on that note?
No, I don't. I think, the libertarian side of me says, a 2-to-1 levered ETF, people are big boys and they know what they're doing, right? We've got products all over the place. I don't want to be telling people, how much to bet or where they should bet. If I see someone betting 15-to-1 on something that's as volatile as Bitcoin, I'll tell them, I think you need to go to your shrink
insane.
here.
Yeah, you're insane.
That's just a recipe for disaster. But I think, small amounts of leverage in anything is fine.
Given the run-up we've seen in Bitcoin in and of itself, what do you think about the crypto assets outside of Bitcoin, particularly with the interest you're seeing around Ethereum and the prospect of an Ethereum ETF?
Yeah, I think that's the next big question for the community. Will Ethereum ETF get through? I know it doesn't feel like the SEC is making it easy. Are we, the same logic that the Bitcoin ETF got through on, which was there's already a futures ETF. If you believed in that, how dare you not believe in a cash ETF? Holds for Ethereum. And so my bias is it gets through sometime this year. But we'll see. Gary Gensler has been very careful about not declaring Ethereum a security. And you can have your own idea why. I'm sorry, not declaring Ethereum not a security. And you can have your own hypothesis why or why not. I would say it opens the gate if one proof of stake, crypto protocol like Ethereum is not a security. Well, what about
That's actually a good point. It does open the gates for other cryptos that are, staking to be not a security. So he's not wrong.
the next one and the next one and the next one? And so all of a sudden his argument that these are all securities would probably go out the window. And so I'm sure there's a lot of internal to and fro around this question. But the reality is we already have an Ethereum futures ETF, and that was the logic that got the Bitcoin ETF approved. And so my bias is it happens.
What about you? Is Galaxy Digital going to go public in the United States this year?
Real quick, I agree. I think the Ethereum ETF is just a matter of time.
You could call the SEC and ask them when they're going to accelerate the group of companies that have been trying. Listen, we have had a very regulatory unfriendly regime of the last 4 years. We're seeing some thawing of that in DC. I don't think it really thaws until after the election. And I don't even think if the Republicans win the election, it will thaw fast. But I think if the Democrats re-win the presidency, I think you're going to see turnover pretty quick. My sense of the congressmen and senators in D.C. is they know we need to do something. And, it's not politically the right time, but I think it'll happen as soon as we get a fresh start.
Now, how do you see other crypto-related stocks, particularly the exchange? If you think about Coinbase, right? You think about yesterday, and a lot of people talking about how you can still trade ETFs, but there was some trouble trading on Coinbase for some users yesterday. Does that impact
it's a good news. It's a good news, bad news. They were so busy, they had so much business that the circuit breakers went off, and so. Listen, I'm sure Brian Armstrong is a very, smart guy, and they've got a huge engineering team, and they are probably working really hard. That doesn't happen again. But it just tells you they are in pole position in this country and in this market. And listen, if I'm candid, it's been un-American and unfair that some companies got through under the Jay Clayton regime and are able to access the capital markets, and a score of others, including us, did not. They traded higher multiples. They trade with great volume. And so it's a big advantage being a U.S. publicly listed company.
Do you worry about missing the boat, though, here? Because you do see the ETFs now. So why would somebody buy into a crypto-related stock when you can just buy into crypto?
Because we do a lot of different things.
Good point.
Galaxy's got an asset management business. We have that literally went from, a small asset management business. We've added $4 billion in AUM in the last 2 months. We're now over $8 billion in AUM. We've got a sales and trading and derivative business that's booming. We've got our own mining business that's having an amazing run. And so when I look, we're very diversified and it feels really good right now. It didn't feel really good a year ago, right? It was a survival and chase loose balls environment. And now it's, hire more people and keep building. Tokenization is coming. Will it happen this year or will it happen the following year? My guess is it starts this year. That will be the next big thing in crypto. And so this transition, it didn't happen as fast as we all thought it might, right back in 2017, but we are moving towards a tokenized world. We're moving towards a more digital world, and you're going to see more decentralized systems, not supplant centralized systems, but integrate with them.
Real quick, Tyson in the chat said too much business, referring to Coinbase. Obviously, he said BS. They know how much hype can affect usage. If they truly being overrun with access, then they learned nothing from the last bull run. I agree, actually. And you know what? It's kind of I guess, tinfoil hat conspiracy theory BS when we say, I wonder if they halted the markets to take profits because it was getting nuts. It was absolutely getting nuts.
And so this is not a 2-year sprint. It is a 10-year, forced march. But this idea of,
I feel like we would have saw a drop though if that happened. Do you know what I mean?
Crypto pipes and transparency and identity being digital, computers. When you think about AI computers talking to each other, they're going to talk to themselves in a digital currency, in a digital language. And so stable coins is going to be bigger and bigger. And Galaxy's trying to be part of that whole ecosystem. And so I think it's a very different play. Listen, all the crypto stocks right now are correlated with Bitcoin because we're so early in the cycle. But in the long run, I think you'll see big differentiation.
Hey, Mike, we're getting some questions from viewers as well. And, the question I'm getting is similar to what I was thinking myself. If the narrative around Bitcoin before was an inflation hedge, or then it became a store of value, and now we're being asked if Bitcoin is not used for commerce, what is its purpose? What's the narrative about Bitcoin? What is
I think it's always been the same. It's in some ways it's a report card on fiscal prudence. It is a store of value. You can it's a debasement of currency, a hedge. And so I say this all the time. A house in America in 2011 cost $190,000. Today it's $400,000. That's the median house, right? So we have debased our currency. We've had asset inflation. At times we've had goods inflation. When you're printing as much money as we're printing, when we have constant now 5-6% of budget deficits, hard assets go up, and Bitcoin is a hard asset for the new generation. It is digital gold. And if you just keep on digital gold, this is why people are buying it. And that narrative is powerful.
Bitcoin's been literally kind of has its roadmap all the way up to, it's completely mined out, right? We have these rate hike meetings that the government needs to have because inflation is just so insane. But Bitcoin's already predetermined, which is the reason why it is a flight to quality.
Change that narrative, that adoption narrative. Well, we have a new president that probably not Biden or Trump, and he gets Congress to pass a balanced budget amendment or a Simpson-Bowles amendment, and we start trying to take that 130% of debt to GDP back to 80. Right now, it's headed to 250. And so,
yeah, exactly. Andrew Masad, Bitcoin was created for these reasons, for just inflation.
That is
the dollar's going to die.
If you just look at the graph,
the value of the dollar has literally went in the garbage from its existence since when it started.
Debt to GDP in America and many other countries, and that is the advertisement for why people buy Bitcoin.
Hey, before we let you go, Mike, quickly here, what are your favorite trades right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Listen, it's like I said, it's been a great run. And so trees don't grow to the sky. The hardest part of managing risk is knowing when to take a few chips off and when to put them back on. And so, listen,
That's actually a really wise thing he said. It's knowing when to take a few chips off the table.
Long this space. We're using this uptick to hire more people to look at how to build Galaxy, for the future. So I guess being among my own stock is my favorite trade.
And real quick, shout out to Mike Novogratz for that. But Filthy Moss in the chat said, dude didn't answer the question. I just think it's hilarious. Can carry a micro SD card with $500,000 on it and more. He said, try moving that in gold. Yeah, you would need a freaking truck to carry that shit. All right. Solana soars more than 12% amid broader crypto rally. Let's see what CNBC Crypto World has to say over here, guys. That like button. Let's try to get 100 likes. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Today, Bitcoin's price takes a breather after that huge Wednesday rally. Coinbase recovers from an outage that showed users empty account balances. And Phil Harvey, the CEO...
I ain't gonna lie. Did anybody else see that? I asked yesterday too, but yeah, I did have a slight panic moment. And then my wife texted me. I was like, okay, I know it's a problem with Coinbase. It's not me.
Of Saber56 breaks down what Bitcoin's rally means for miners ahead of the upcoming halving event.
And then I alerted all the VIPs because I knew some of you guys were freaking out too.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Prices of major cryptocurrencies pretty flat as of noon Eastern, with Bitcoin trading down 0.5%, but still keeping above the $62,000 mark.
Real quick, I want to see what Bitcoin's at, actually. What are we looking like? 62,616 and Ethereum 3,444. Nice. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to...
Ether, on the other hand, slightly in the green, rising less than 0.5% to $3,442. Solana, meanwhile, soaring today by more than 12% to $130 amid this week's broader crypto rally.
Wait until we have like AI news reporters just here.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Coinbase is recovering from an outage that came right in the midst of that huge crypto rally yesterday. The trading platform's app showed $0 balances for many users trying to access their accounts around midday yesterday. Now, Coinbase told CNBC at the time of the outage that customers' assets were safe. Later in the day, the platform bounced back, and Coinbase posted on X that it was seeing improvements in customer trading. Still, it warned that some people might see login and transaction errors because of increased traffic. Shares of the company stock dipped about 1.5% as of noon, but fell as much as 3.5% yesterday as the outage was taking place. Next, Gemini has agreed to repay at least $1.1 billion to customers of the crypto exchange's Earn Investment program as part of a settlement with New York regulators. That deal, reached yesterday, would also see the bankrupt platform pay a $37 million fine to the New York Department of Financial Services, in part for its dealings with crypto lender Genesis. In a statement, Superintendent Adrian Harris said that Gemini failed to conduct due diligence on an unregulated third party, later accused of massive fraud, harming Earn customers who were suddenly unable to access their assets after Genesis Global Capital experienced a financial meltdown. Gemini also agreed to pay $40 million to Earn customers trying to recover funds in the Genesis bankruptcy.
Wow, that's shocking. Mr. Lee, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I don't want to shield this coin, but he said, just realized something so bullish. The Bitcoin halving aligns almost perfectly with Easter. The Jesus coin rise is going to be so intense. God is great. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. I know you're trying to push it, but we can't do that.
Gemini took to X yesterday to let Earn users know that if
Thanks for being here, buddy.
The deal is approved by the bankruptcy court, they could get back 100% of their digital assets, as well as any and all appreciation of assets since lending into the program. The Post noted that the required bankruptcy court process could take as long as 2 months to complete. Last, a new report reveals that the majority of illegal crypto activity is tied to sanctioned groups or terrorist organizations. Chainalysis released its 2024 crypto crime report today, which found that more than $24 billion of illicit cryptocurrency was transferred in 2023. Now, it's important to note that while that figure was lower than the previous year's number, a higher proportion of the funds were attributed to sanctioned entities like those tied to North Korean hacking groups and U.S.-designated terrorist groups like Hezbollah. Those tied to sanctioned entities and jurisdictions accounted for more than 61% of total illicit transaction volume last year. Chainalysis points out that as adoption of crypto by illicit actors continues to grow, So have the tracing and enforcement methods of agencies, officials, and analysis firms. You can check out the full story over at cnbc.com.
Guys, please be careful when it comes to like scams and stuff. They are going to be outrageous this year, I'm assuming, right? Crypto scams, every time there's a bull run, there is more than you can imagine. Don't scan QR codes that, you know, are saying that they're gonna, you know, send Bitcoin to this address. Please don't ever do that, because they'll probably hack your phone. Yeah, just be careful. Don't click on links you don't know what they are. Don't open emails you don't know what they are. If you got a fake email saying you've been charged for something you didn't purchase, it's fake. They want you to call the number. They want you to click on it. Please don't do it. Just please be careful.
All right, back to Bitcoin for our main story. As the price of the cryptocurrency soared above $60,000 this week, I spoke with Phil Harvey, the CEO of Saber56, a digital asset mining consultancy, about what the rally means for miners and what will change after the halving in April.
And if you guys look up this scam called Pig Butcher Scam, you guys will literally want to vomit. It is so awful what they do to people over there. They just like, yeah, they just take advantage of people that are, you know, I guess less fortunate or more fortunate than others, and I guess don't have anybody in their lives. It's like literally a fake girlfriend, but it's an Indian man you're talking to, you know, somewhere else, or just somewhere, some guy trying to scam you. It's not a woman, okay? It's pictures from Google. That's what it is. Just keep that in mind.
Yesterday was a big day for crypto, with Bitcoin hitting $64,000, closing in on the previous all-time high of nearly $69,000. And this morning, Bitcoin was trading above $63,000. Now, investors are expecting Bitcoin to set a new record this year after the launch of ETFs made the asset class more accessible to institutional investors, and with the network's halving event set for April. Now, historical trends have shown price increases around past halvings. So how much of the recent crypto rally would you say is attributable to the upcoming halving? And what do you expect will happen with price in the weeks leading up to and following that event?
The big question, right? What happens with price?
Oh, God, why is he in the bathroom? What is happening?
So it's anyone's guess. I mean, historically...
Oh, God, I can't listen to that. I can't listen to that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna make you listen to this on your own.
The price will rise.
That's awful.
How much so? It's to be determined. I would like to think that...
I'm gonna let you guys listen to this on your own. I apologize. That's fucking annoying. I can't listen to that echo. That's gonna drive me nuts. There you go. All right. This guy needs to get out of the bathroom or put some sound stuff around your studio. All right. Last but not least, I know you guys hate this, but I gotta get out of here shortly, so let's get into this. Let's see what Altcoin Daily put out yesterday. This will make people too rich. Let's see what he's got to say over here. Any shills I will skip through. Guys, that like button, appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
At the start of this year, in December, we actually published our 2024 predictions, and we said that Bitcoin would trade to new all-time highs above $80,000 a coin. Based on what we're seeing in our ETF and these other ETFs, I think we have to revise that upwards. It could be 100,000, it could be 200,000, it could be higher than that. There's simply this massive supply-demand dynamic going on, net new demand and a fixed supply, and actually a reduction in new supply coming up in April with the halvening. Sometimes investing is complex, sometimes it's easy. With Bitcoin right now, it's just about supply demand, and there's too much demand and not enough supply.
There's too much demand and not enough supply as Bitcoin breaks 2024 highs, pushing up.
Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll see a sixth. Is this a green candle right here? So is that like the, I'm assuming 6, 7, maybe, probably the most candles in a row. We're going to have some sort of little pullback at some point. I think it's going to be later today. It's my opinion.
Against all-time highs, Wells Fargo and Bank of America's Merrill are now pushing Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. Morgan Stanley even coming out and saying that they're considering offering Bitcoin ETFs. Understand that yesterday, the Bitcoin ETFs took 10,000 Bitcoins off the market. That same time frame, only about 900 new Bitcoins were produced. Do the math. Bitcoin goes much higher, and most importantly, we'll likely see buying increase as we edge closer to the halving. Then we'll see the daily minted mined Bitcoin half from 900 to 450. Exchange supply is dwindling. 4 years ago, there were 3 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Today, there are only just 2 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Probably less than 4 years, there'll only be less than 1 million Bitcoin on exchanges because the daily minted Bitcoin gets halved very soon, and then 4 years later, same thing, and institutions keep buying at an increasing record pace. These ETFs are the most successful ETFs of all time. This will go down in history.
Have any of you actually gotten any calls from like people that are like into Bitcoin or know you're into Bitcoin? Have you guys gotten any of those calls yet, or have you had the talk with people just like randomly asking you about it, like at work or something? Let me know in the chat. Interested to know.
Look at the data, take a look at the metrics. It is amazing what we're seeing. Bitcoin holders were right. People who follow this channel were right. The Bitcoin ETFs have now taken 5.57 billion in just 2 weeks. Yesterday was a record day. Momentum is building. 1 billion plus single days coming soon.
You know, it's funny. I actually, I don't want to out who it was, but there's this young kid that watches me or used to watch me, right? And he kind of disappeared after like, when the bear market happened, right? Just kind of there's no money in the space, people leave, right? So bear market shows up, and my wife is printing something next to me that threw me off so bad. Anyways, what's it called? So he messaged me the other day, and he was like, hey, does that still stand? He's like, I finally turned 16 and I can get a tattoo now. He's from like the UK or something. He's like, if I get a tattoo of you on the channel, are you still gonna send me whatever? I was like, bro, no, I was joking. Do not tattoo your body with anything from anybody. Like, cut the shit. But it's funny that like that sentiment in the market is coming back. People are gonna start calling you guys because you know a bit about Bitcoin or crypto or whatever.
Please. Don't be like Greg. Please don't be like Greg. Do not sell too early.
And I can't believe they allow kids to tattoo themselves at 16 over in the UK. What the is happening?
Reminiscent of gold. Gold's 1970 to 2009 price action right here looks strikingly similar to Bitcoin's chart over the last few years. In a digital interconnected world, adoption happens much faster. We're now in the price discovery phase for the next global store of value, Bitcoin. Historic times. Again, I showed you this chart 6 months ago, almost a year ago now. We showed you this chart. This is what happened when the gold spot ETFs hit. Why couldn't Bitcoin do this? I think Bitcoin could do more than this because when there was a greater demand for gold, they mined more gold. They do that with every commodity. They get more of the supply. With Bitcoin, they can't. Real quick, my friends.
Oh, chilling it. Hold on. Let's move on.
With CoinLedger.
Use Coinly, not CoinLedger. Let's see. Crypto KJ, I'm getting a CCXT logo tattooed on my left ass cheek if Bitcoin hits $1 million by 2030. You're ridiculous. That's hysterical. Real quick, Crypto in the chat said, I've gone from 7K to 100K investing through the bear market. Dude, good for you. That's amazing.
The world is finally starting to open its eyes as to how big of a deal the Bitcoin halving is for Bitcoin and for Bitcoin holders. Mike McGlone, the senior commodity strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence, breaks down the halving.
Wait, can you just break down this whole halving thing? I don't understand how that's okay to do that.
Did she just say she doesn't understand how it's okay to do that? Does she not know that this is like a fixed algo that like it's got a roadmap? It's already never mind. I'm just gonna.
Well, hello, Alex. It's in the code. I have a son who's a programmer. I asked him about it. He says, no, it's the code, Dad. It's just by code, every 4 years, the supply gets cut in half. So right now, all the miners in the world will only create 900 coins a day. And as of the halving, it'll cut to 450. So it doesn't have that high price cure that you really see affect most commodities and why most commodities are in bear markets, with the exception of gold. But it also, on the supply side, it's just the way it's set up. And as our colleague Zeke Foss wrote number go up. Well, that's Bitcoin is designed to go up, but now it's becoming an alternative currency on a global basis, and the U.S. is jumping in that fray. And also, a key thing you have to look at it from a macroeconomic standpoint is China's kind of pushing back. Remember, China's going for gold, the largest gold buyer in the world, and they were associated with this war. And the U.S. is just to approve ETFs and Bitcoin. So you see where the world's going towards intangible assets, and Bitcoin's the most significant in cryptos.
Guys, Bitcoin has already broken all-time highs in many of the top 20 currencies, not the bottom 20, the top 20. Bitcoin is 8% away from breaking all-time highs versus the US dollar, 2% away from breaking all-time highs versus the euro, 1% from the British pound, 12% from the Swiss franc. Jason Lau, the Chief Innovation Officer at OKX and Chief Operating Officer at OKCoin, breaks this down.
It's actually hit all-time highs in many, many different currencies already. I think the dollar, the euro, maybe the pound and the Hong Kong dollar are just a few where it has not already hit all-time highs. Earlier this morning, it crossed 9 million Japanese yen, and some of our Japanese colleagues were excited about that. And so there's a lot of euphoria out there right now for Bitcoin.
You can see what's happening. And what excites me even more is the fact that demand is ramping up. Matt Hogan, the CIO of Bitwise, does a perfect job explaining where the demand has come from thus far and why the demand is going to ramp up and where the new demand is going to come from.
When you look at what's been driving this price action on Bitcoin, Matt, how much of this is retail investors investing directly in Bitcoin? How much of it is the ETF? How much of it is institutions in the ETF?
Real quick, Crypto KJ says, oh, for the records, law is that you can get a tattoo at 16 if you have a parent with you, otherwise 18. Oh, God. All right, well, I hope his parents wouldn't let him do that.
Absolutely. It's a great question. We're seeing enormous demand for the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF and across all of these ETFs. And the answer is it's all of those categories. You're seeing retail investors come into these ETFs. You're seeing hedge funds. You're seeing RIAs or independent financial advisors.
We're going to see
I think
more.
there's an even bigger wave coming in a few months as we start to see the major wirehouses turn on. But this has been Bitcoin's IPO moment. It's in a new era of price discovery. And I think prices could go substantially higher from here.
Let's talk about where they could go in just a minute. But I just want to go back to this idea of who you think is buying these ETFs, meaning how much of this is retail versus institutions?
Yeah, absolutely. When these ETFs first launch, they're not turned on at the major wirehouses, at the major institutions. So the initial demand out of the gate for any ETF, including these, is primarily retail and independent financial advisors and hedge funds. So I think that's the primary driver. That's what we're seeing. Right. But I'll tell you, after this meeting, I'm getting on a plane to go talk to one of the largest institutional consultants in the US about this ETF. So we're going to see that next wave of institutional capital.
You did mention hedge funds, which I will put in sort of an institutional or professional category. In terms of this big move, do you think it's that money that's pushed this, or do you think it's straight retail?
Oh, I think it's both. I think it's both. It's just new demand. If you think about Bitcoin pre the ETFs, there was only a small set of investors who could buy it. Now almost everyone can buy it, and the supply-demand dynamic is just off the hook. There are 30,000 Bitcoin purchased by ETFs this week alone. Bitcoin miners have only created less than 3,000. That's what's driving the price. And it's both hedge funds and retail and that advisor community.
Hey, guys.
30,000 purchased and only 3,000 produced by miners. That's crazy. Real quick in the chat, Steve Mint, this made me laugh. He said, my buddy saw a BTC ATM at the store and said, how many do you think are in there? It's just hysterical. That's great.
It's not just Bitcoin anymore. Kathy Wood's ARK Invest just integrated Chainlink into its Bitcoin ETF. Chainlink's proof of reserves for its spot Bitcoin ETF.
What?
Injective after a 70-day reaccumulation, breaking out. Obviously, you guys know there's a lot of different altcoins we like. Please check back on any of our videos from the last 6 months. 44 is an Ethereum improvement proposal aiming to boost scalability. Then in May 2024,
yeah, this is supposed to be a big deal in March.
We'll get the first spot Ethereum ETF. I'm bullish.
Maybe that's not definite. That is not definite. This is the first deadline
on the Ethereum ecosystem, especially when we see stuff like this. Robinhood is integrating an Ethereum L2 Arbitrum. Robinhood wallet users will be able to swap tokens on Arbitrum-based DEXs. The altcoin bull run is just getting started. Subscribe to the channel, join the team. Again, I encourage you to look back on the top 200 chart in the App Store yet. In 2017 and 2021, it hit the #1 spot. This run hasn't even started. We're going to make so much money trading against these regular type people, according to this crypto Twitter anon. Aiden Ross and this other guy two of the biggest streamers getting millions, tens of millions of viewers every single time they stream. This is them talking about crypto. Seems like we know a lot more than them.
Dude, ETH is pumping right now. What are you guys' predictions with crypto? You guys think it's gonna you guys think it's gonna plateau? Like, you don't want it to plateau. What? Yeah, do we swap? Are we like, what should we do?
I'm keeping ETH.
You're holding it?
Yeah, I'm holding ETH. ETH is gonna be stable 100%.
What is ETH going to?
Stable? It's not gonna be. This doesn't mean what? Stable. It's gonna go up for sure. Not stable.
5, 10K? Imagine it goes to $10,000.
It won't move.
Probably
that much,
will.
No, it won't. It's gonna peak
10.
at like 4.
4.
It's gonna peak at 4.
Bruh.
Stick to streaming.
I'm swapping a lot. No, not half.
Okay, I think it is stable though in general, and I think even though if it plateaus, if it go down, it'll go slowly.
Nah, me and Cheese were on the phone when ETH went from like 3,000 to 1,700 in one day.
Yeah. That sounds.
And this is the nastiest shit ever. He picks his nose on stream. Anyways, all right. I don't watch him. But shout out to Altcoin Daily for that. All right, guys. Recap real quick. I gotta get out of here. We have BTC 62,476, Ethereum 3,442, Solana almost $135 at 134.85. We have Dogecoin 12 cents, Toncoin at $2.80. Kaspa is looking like it is at 17 cents, 17.5 cents, down 2.8%, but it is still holding strong. Honestly, it is accumulating right now around 17-18 cent area. Let's see. Again, on the week, biggest earner looks to be Whiff. This literally cracks me up. Dog Whiff hat. I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyways, guys, I love you all. You're all fantastic. As you know, it is Friday. I am going to leave you guys with this. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it. 93 likes, near 206 people. I would appreciate if you guys could do that. I'm going to try to go live with the wife at some point today, if we can, before DJ Mines goes live later on tonight at about 8 p.m. or so. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try 5-ish Eastern Standard Time with the wife if we can. But if not, I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Saturday. Until then, peace out and have a good day, guys. Catch you soon.
Till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hold until I can't no more.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
All right, I got one more for you guys before we get out of here. You guys might love this one as well. Hold on. Oh, gotta pause this other one. Anyway, shout out to Chris Records Raps because that one is amazing. And then we gotta end it with real quick beginning on this. Guys, happy Friday. Oh, hold on. Oh, god damn it. Muted. There we go. This is the best. This is the best little clip ever.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound. And I need you, and I miss you.
Love it. Guys, have a good day. Happy Friday. Catch you guys soon. And peace out.
This hash rate's going bonkers.